I feel privileged to have been invited by Sruti Foundation and Music Forum to give a lecture demonstration on the contribution of Lalgudi Jayaraman to dance art. My greetings to Sri Arti, who is not here, respected Srimati Sukanya, Kumari Janaki, the able editor of Shruti, Srimati Usha Bharadwaj, representing Music Forum, Sri Ramakrishnan, my dear nephew, can I call you nephew, Krishnan? I have one Kannan nephew and another Krishnan nephew. Well, I miss Vijay Lakshmi here. Please convey my greetings to her. I also miss another person, Lakshmi Devnath, who wrote the extraordinary book on Lalgudi ji. Anyway, we heard her daughter now, and I had nostalgic memories when she concluded with the Mand Tilana. I'll talk about it later. I must say, when I think of Sri Arti and his relationship with the musical icon Sri Lalgudi, you must convey this to him even if he is not here. I am reminded of such a parallel in the history of Tamil literature. The incomparable poet Kamban, who gave us the Ramayana, was patronized by Shadayappa Vallal throughout his life with utmost respect to the virtuosity of that divine Kavi. Sri Arti has been the Shadayappa Vallal of Sri Lalgudi throughout his life. They have been mutually blessed. One needs the punya phala even to be a rasika. If one is not sensitive to higher values of life, we have to sympathize with such a person with a mere robotic existence devoid of a soulful experience. Artists cannot survive without the appreciation of rasikas. They are mutually responsible for the blossoming of rasa, which is a spiritual experience as explained by the Indian philosophers of aesthetics. The Upanishad says, Raso vai saha, rasagihye vayam labdvanandi bhavati. Rasa is that infinite. One who attains that rasa obtains that ananda or spiritual bliss. Music is part of Nada Brahmam, that is, the concept of Brahmam pervading as Nada. Tyaga Brahmam, as Tyagaraja is referred to, was the direct mentor of Lalgudi Jayaramanji's great-grandfather Ramayar. For more than a decade, he did Gurukulavasam at Thiruvayaru and was one of the direct disciples who brought to light the biography of this saint composer. So we owe a lot to this Lalgudi family. Thinking of the legacy of Lalgudi, one cannot but believe in punya, which trails behind every birth, in the very choice of parents to whom the soul is born. Lalgudi was richest with punya, the wealth of which is non-taxable and also beyond theft. One can choose the friends but not the parents. The samskara, that is the inbuilt refinement in thought, word and action, reflecting in very behavior and attitudes, are greatly influenced by the ambience in the family. Lalgudi was most fortunate to be soaked in values of sampradaya, in music and life, which had mutual influence. I have to mention this because a genius is born and also groomed like the treated diamond. If the genius goes unchannelized, there is a danger of entering perverse intelligence. So thank God for Lalgudi to have had a great family legacy which continues after him. It has helped him to serve the cause of Carnatic music with utmost creativity that enlarged the cycle without breaking it. That flow of creativity, energy, let's call it Kriya Shakti in the Hindu parlance, emanated one more significant ray of light, namely his compositions for dance art. In English, they say, tell me who your friend is, I'll tell you who you are. My family has been blessed to have the best of intellectuals and artists as our family friends. Sri Lalgudi was one of, I would say, most respectable acquaintance, with laudable character adding dignity to his dainty music. He was unbelievably humble and friendly with his admirers, though quite firm about the validity of his instrument violin getting its rightful place in the center stage. He was extremely open-minded in exchanging views and quite eager to meet musicians from all over. We had invited him for a get-together with a Greek musicologist. I don't know if Krishna came for that. He must have been quite young. This musicologist from Greece was a specialist in Gregorian chants. And this was at our residence with just about a dozen relevant people. Dr. Balamurali Krishna was one of the musicians who attended that meet. Lalgudi, to our surprise, brought his violin and played the Greek chants that the visiting professor sang. Can you imagine this? He accompanied him right on the spot. Krishna, you didn't know this? Unfortunately, those days we didn't have video, or we didn't plan even an audio recording. This is not documented anywhere. That's why I thought I should share this information with you, because you are all really diehard fans of Lalgudi. It shows the saulabhyam of the genius and an attitude of natural blend bereft of any complex. This is possible only because he was truly a genius. Our tour of USSR, particularly Moscow, was most memorable. I'm sure Krishnan remembers how Patni kadandom nariya. சாப்பாட்டுக்கு ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்பட்டோம். MS Amma, her group, Lalgudi's group, and dancers like me, Sudharani Raghupati, Chitra Vishweshwaran, and also Chitti Babu. Can you believe? All of us flew together like as though it was a chartered flight. It was a great experience. And we shared the uninteresting vegetarian food in the 7-star hotel and enjoyed that fun. Lalgudi's concert and mine were coupled in Moscow. And it was most memorable to find bouquets after bouquets being thrown at him from the audience. You remember that, Krishna? What an experience it was. I felt extremely proud, and he also heartily felt proud of me. The curtain calls at the Congress Hall in Moscow after our concerts had an evening. It was a house-full audience with a capacity of a little over 10,000 people. They almost did an archana of bouquets for us. That is the norm of the Russian audience. They all bring bouquets. They buy bouquets outside the hall and they come. And they'll just keep throwing it at us. And some of them will even come to the stage and give us. Thinking of it now, I feel culture is not just soft power, as it is being declared, but a powerful energy bringing peoples of the world together. Violinists all over the world had great regard for Lalgudi. Who cannot admire Lalgudi? His violin, everybody was mesmerized. Well, unless one is a cantankerous critic. Like any true trailblazer in history, Lalgudi also had a handful of them whom he never took seriously. He was like Bhavabhuti, the great Sanskrit dramatist, who said in one of the prologues of his drama that his work is meant for the Sahridaya who would be from any part of the world in any part of the time. Lalgudi seems to have amalgamated the best from all quarters in his music. He was like a perennial river and not a stagnant pond. His father Gopal Iyer had this to say. I am quoting from Lakshmi Devnath's book on him. Quote, along with music of my forefathers, I have heard the music of Tirukkodikaval Krishnayar, Malaikottai Govindaswamy Pillai, Shemmangudi Narayanaswamy, later Chaudaya, Kumbakonam Rajamanikam Pillai. Well, I have incorporated the best aspects of their playing and passed it on to Jayaraman. What a wonderful treasure it must have been for him. So what a repository of this treasure of music that Lalgudi was. It is amazing and also educating the younger minds of today to emulate this noble example. With such an open-mindedness, ever ready to receive streams of knowledge, Lalgudi approached the dance art too. That experience is the source of unparalleled contributions to the dance field. Lakshmi Devnath quotes Lalgudi saying, quote, before one innovates, one should know one's subject thoroughly, unquote. This noble attitude was responsible for Lalgudi's triumph as a composer for dance. It is with some dismay that I would like to state here that there are hardly just a few musicians of great repute who even attend dance concerts. I'm sure Janaki would agree with me. Vice versa, it is unfortunate that many dancers do not listen to great musicians. This interaction is directly proportional to have a holistic view of these arts. The term Sangeeta is defined in Amarakosha as Taurya Trikam, including the triple aspects of Geeta, vocal music, Vadya, instrumental, and Nritta, dance. Lalgudi, in all measures, was a Sangeeta Vidwan. For apart from Geeta and Vadya, he understood the nuances of dance with a deliberate intention to know about it. He was one musician at Krishnagana Sabha who attended all my concerts for nearly 3 decades. And also attended all the lectures and demonstrations at the Natya Kala conference. Where did he get the time? I don't know. It's the interest that he took. Lalgudi's ever first composition originated in 1950. Kumara Guru Guham on his family deity. His first Tillana was composed way back in 1958 in Vasanta Raga. I would like to quote him again from Lakshmi Devnath's book. Quote, while Kelvi Jnanam helped immensely, continuous pondering on the subject greatly contributed to my understanding of the art. Unquote. We can now understand his respect for dance art and his serious contemplation on its integrities. It is said that T. Brindamma, as we used to call her, the well-known repository of Padams and Javalis and the first cousin of T. Balasaraswati, was astounded listening to Lalgudi playing some Padams and Javalis. These special compositions, which are a test to the best of musicians, are exclusive forms for Abhinaya. Brindama, it seems, asked her daughter Vegavahini, quote, where did this boy get the Padams and Javalis? Unquote. Of course, it was Vegavahini of that illustrious legacy who had passed on the recordings to Lalgudi so that she can hear these stemming out of his strings. Lalgudi is said to have taken the guidance of Swami Malay Rajaratnam, the wonderful Nattuvanar Guru and singer of the Valur Bani. It is interesting to enlist the compositions of Lalgudi for dance. He has to his credit 3 Pushpanjalis, 2 Jatiswarams, 4 Padavarnams, and about 3 dozen Tillanas. This amounts to a large bulk of compositions for dance. I would like to request Krishnan and Vijay, I'm not asking you to play, don't be frightened. You must get it published as a separate book of Lalgudi's composition for dance, so that dancers and dance teachers have something authentic to follow. It is interesting to know that it was in 1968 that Lalgudi watched a dance concert for the first time. And that was a concert of Kamala, Radha and Vatsanti at Tamil Sangam. And who was sitting with him? My guru, Natya Kalakesari, Valur Ramaya Pillai. This was 10 years after he had composed his first Tillana. That day, Kamala performed his Revati Tillana at Tamilishe. I think dancers should know all this as part of history. They should be given these details. As I said, it was 10 years after he had composed his first Tillana and Vasanta. After that, dancers kept pouring into Lalgudi's residence, asking for his compositions. Before this queue formed, the trigger for his Tillana demand came from his unique recording of an album exclusively devoted to Tillanas. It was called The Dance of Sound. His son, Krishnan, very young those days, had accompanied his father. This was way back in 1977. Kudos to you, Krishna. It made history. It was a feast for the open-minded Rasikas of all age groups. It was an eye-opener for the creative artists. But it also lifted the eyebrows of the blinker-bound traditionalists. It had 2 reasons. One was the semi-classical genre of the Tillanas, and secondly, the orchestral music that intercepted between the flow of the composition. Lalgudi's disciple, Sham, his real name is Sam, did the orchestration. Lalgudi had used instruments of northern and southern India, western and even far eastern instruments for the orchestration in the preludes of the Tillanas. This added to the appeal and scope of expansion of a given classical musical form. This is what I mean by enlarging traditional values without breaking it. There were people whose criticism for choosing the lighter ragas for the Tillanas was also given a proper reply. Lalgudi had explained the reason with accurate logic. Thank you. Sorry. Tillanas used to be a part of Carnatic kacheris in the last list of tukkadas towards the end of the concert, after a heavy Ragamdana Pallavi. In Bharatanatyam also, it was performed only towards the end, though it was, of course, physically tiring with complicated syncopation of rhythmic structures. Tukkadas are generally in lighter ragas and hence suitable choice for Lalgudi's Tillanas. In the olden days, Tillanas had a simple Pallavi for which rhythmic ramifications are handled in dance. Pallavi gets repeated for a long time. I can say long time. When Lalgudi composed the Mand Tillana for me, you just heard Shreya playing it. I must tell you, I have such nostalgic feelings about it. He asked me, when are you going to perform my Tillana? I said, if you compose something specially for me, then I'll perform. I had the audacity to tell him. And he had every right to ask me. And then he asked, would you like to have it in Mand? I said, any raga of your choice. Anything will be very beautiful. Then he asked me, which deity you want to be propitiated at the end of Tillana? I said, Kamakshi. So he gave a verse on Kamakshi also. And he sang that cassette. Kannan is searching for it. He called my nephew Veena Kannan to come home. He sang the whole Tillana. அவ்வளோ ஸ்லோவாக பாடவே முடியாது. ஏன்னா அதை சரியாக கற்றுக்கணுங்கிறதுக்காக he sang it in that slow speed. விளம்ப காலத்தில் பாடி, அதில் வேற 7 variations இந்த பல்லவி இருக்குது. No Tillana has so many sangatis. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் கிடையாது. நான் என்ன பண்ணேன், அந்த 7 variations-ஐ 7 கண்டீஸுக்கு யூஸ் பண்ணேன். So that the music is not sounding monotonous. அந்த மாதிரி அதை யூஸ் பண்ணேன். And who played Mirdangam for me? It was Karakudi Krishnamurthy. Not only Krishnamurthy, for the first time, Zakir Hussain from Bombay came and he accompanied me. And this was at Krishnagana Sabha. It was January 1st as usual, my usual slot. And the auditorium was overflowing. Right there, Lalgudi ji was there. He was inspiring us. His presence made all the difference to us. And Yagiraman had to organize chairs outside the auditorium. And outside the auditorium, for the first time, TV screens were kept. And Yagiraman said he will sell tickets for that also. So tickets were sold for that where people didn't have a roof to sit and listen or see. So it's something which made history. Mount Tillana was extremely well received by Rasikas and Vidwans, like no less a person than Shammangudi. Lalgudi himself said that barring Mand, he did not compose other Tillanas for dance. Those Tillanas were used for dance, but he composed only Mand for dance. Out of the 4 Padavarnams that Lalgudi composed, my choice for my full-length program of Lalgudi's compositions was the one in Charukeshi. Lalgudi's Charukeshi is something special. Every raga is special, but there is an anecdote about this. And this anecdote is referred to in Lakshmi Devnath's book. After a concert, Lalgudi found a gold chain on his lap as he was packing his violin. It was revealed to him that an army officer had intentionally dropped it on his lap and left after listening to his rendering of Charukeshi Raga. Lalgudi managed to return to him the chain with gratitude for his appreciation. Lalgudi's Charukeshi by itself is so moving, and the lyrics of this Varnam brings in various shades of bhakti. It is just not Shringara, Pacha Shringara, all his compositions had the tint of bhakti in it. And this Varnam, I must record here, was composed for Kamala to perform. When Lalgudi's 80th birthday was celebrated at Krishnagana Sabha, his family was very keen that I should perform. I performed a whole evening of Lalgudi's compositions, and both Rajamma was there and Lalgudi ji was there and the whole family was there. And Vijayalakshmi herself sang for me. Gayatri did Natvangam, but Lalgudi's daughter sang. And I have not the whole thing, but I just want to show you a small part of my Charukeshi Varnam, just for you to understand how much the lyrics give scope for dance. It is just not like a kriti. He composed lyrics so that it gives enough scope for what we call Sanchari Bhava. So now you will have, the whole Varnam takes about 35 minutes, but Mahati has edited it for about 10 to 12 minutes.
மன்னா கமல கண்ணமணி
Sorry. While Charukeshi Varnam was composed at the request of Kamala, the Navarasa Varnam on goddess Meenakshi was originally for Chitra Vishweshwaran. Lalgudi's choice of ragas for the 9 rasas are as follows. Bilahari for just Ananda, Husaini for Shringaram, Valaj for Adbhutam, Saranga for Hasyam, Sucharita for Bibhatsam, Atana for Raudram, Rasika Priya for Bhayanakam, Sahana for Karunyam, and Nadanamakriya for Shantam. Each pada or line was impregnated with the relevant bhava and raga bhava, leading to the blossoming of the intended rasa, even through the sense of hearing. When the sense of seeing it enacted by the dancer of eminence, the joy of the rasika becomes a delectable blessing. Lalgudi's music is emotional music. That is why I said in an interview to the Hindu that is quoted in the book, I said his music comes from the heart directly. You close your eyes and listen, the music melts perfectly with the theme. Every phrase and bhava will immerse you in its own shade of emotion, unquote. This is re-quoted in the book. And the Varnam, Devar Mover in Shanmuga Priya, was composed for Chitra Vishweshwaran. So 2 Varnams for her. His Neelambari Varnam, Sendil Nagar Mevum Deva, was composed for, you won't believe, an Arangetram of one girl, Rajshri, daughter of Dr. J.R. Shankaran, a big fan of the maestro. This reveals the approachable attitude of the master, accepting to create music for the stalwarts and also for the beginners, with no compromise on the standard of the composition. Each Varnam is a gem radiating the Raga Bhava in full measure with danceable lyrics. Namagiripete Krishnan, the Nadaswara maestro, whose centenary is, I think, being celebrated now, described Lalgudi as Tillana Chakravarti. Each of 32 Tillanas of Lalgudi seems to have been having an anecdote attached to it. Most of them are dedicated to his family deity Murugan, but other deities are also propitiated. Senjurity is on Sharada, Ananda Bhairavi on Venkateshwara, and Rajshri is on Shiva. Apart from Ragabhavam, Lalgudi's compositions are replete with rhythmic excellence, which was praised by no lesser personality than Mridangam Chakravarti Palakat Mani Iyer. Lalgudi himself has explained his mental visualization of his Tillanas as he composed them. Mohan Kalyani Tillana brought to his mind the image of a fawn capering down a hillock and abruptly looking backwards at a pause in the last note of the phrase. How beautiful to imagine this. Pahad Tillana was reflective of raindrops falling on a boat. Madhuvanti Tillana conjured in his mind images of autumnal leaves moving down in abandon. I must say, I read about this only recently, but this is something which has happened in my mind for a long time. Whenever I hear music, I see movement. It has always been music and movement together for me. When I received my Japanese award, I had planned to perform something for Japanese music, and they sent me a dozen recordings. I chose one. I didn't know it was written in Japanese. I didn't know the name of the composer. I didn't know what it was meant for. But It was a composition of a very great koto master, Miyagi Michio, whose centenary was being celebrated when I went to Japan. This was sheer coincidence. Not only that, I choreographed Gajendra Moksham for this, showing water around, listening to birds, and it so happened that Miyagi Michio was a blind composer, and he was taken in boat in the southern China Sea, and it was there, by listening to certain sounds of the waves and birds, he composed that music. And what I thought was completely in tune with what the composer had thought of. So I'm not surprised Lalgudi had imagery when he composed these Tillanas. I could believe that. And in the same way, when I was preparing for Lalgudi program, I heard his Rasika Priya Jatiswaram, and in my mind, it created, you'll laugh at me if I say, it created games played by children. I decided to make my grandniece, at that time little Mahati, to join me in this Jatiswaram. And throughout this Jatiswaram, in my choreography, I was mimicking sports, only games. I would like to show you a part of that. And the bhava is Vatsalya. That is what I had in my mind. Show a bit of it. Lalgudi's compositions are most suitable for children who grow as dancers. It is bhakti oriented with swara passages to enhance their nritta. You will have a part of a song that little Mahati danced for the occasion. Lalgudi also acknowledged the source of inspiration for some of his compositions. It shows his magnanimity. Maharajapuram Vishwanatha Iyer's rendering of a shloka in Darbari Kannada triggered his Tillana in that raga. Ajay Chakravarti's delineation of Durga led to his Tillana in that raga. Well, host of dancers have popularized Lalgudi's compositions, through their astounding performances. Urmila Satyanarayana had danced his Pushpanjalis. I had seen Shrikala Bharat and her disciples perform his Navarasa Varnam. Rukmini Vijayakumar had passionately danced his Charukeshi Varnam. Many young and senior dancers are still joyfully performing Lalgudi's Varnams and Tillanas. Srimati Rajam, his loving wife, not only loving, most beautiful wife, remembered which Tillana he composed when. Roughly, its chronology goes like this. Vasanta Tillana, 1958. Tilang, 1960. Senjurity, 1964-65. Sindhu Bhairavi, 1960s. Revati Tillana, late 1970s. Kannada, also 1970s. Yamuna Kalyani, also 1970s. Rasika Priya, Jatiswaram, 1972. Kamas Tillana, 1974. Pahadi, 1970. Anand Bhairavi, 1970. Bindu Malini, 1970. Mishra Mand, 1987-88. Nagaswarali Pushpanjali, 1990. Gambiranate Pushpanjali, 1990. Priyadarshini Tillana, 2008. Lalgudi composed Hamsanandi Tillana in the Ayurveda hospital. He also completed the lyrics for Bindu Malini and Yamuna Kalyani there in the hospital in 1989 when he was taking Ayurveda treatment. Lalgudi had also composed Jaya Jaya Devi for a whole evening of dance program. Unfortunately, due to some kind of a copyright problem, I don't know the details, claimed by one individual in US, it became a legal fight. Of course, Lalgudi won the case, but he lamented on this controversy, for dancers like me could not use any of those songs. Lalgudi also tuned Bharatiyar's poems with his emotional music. His Kalpana Swarams for Theerada Vilayattu Pillai, for the phrase Pinnale Pinnindu Irippan, was soaked in the meaning of the spirit of Krishna, the mischievous brat involved in the tug of pulling the plait of the gopi, that people who listened to it at Tamilisai Sangam decades ago still joyfully remember the scene created through his music. His violin really danced. I would like to show you a couple of compositions. Not the whole dance, but parts of what he composed music for Bharatiyar. The first one will be, of course, it's Sringara based. First one will be by Vineet, the very famous actor, my disciple, who also danced for the occasion, followed by another verse which I danced for the occasion, both Bharatiyar's lyrics.
பொழுதிலே
I must give full credit to Vijay Lakshmi. She is not a regular singer for dance, and Gayatri will tell you it is a little difficult to sing for me because there is no question of writing this line 4 times, that line 8 times. There is no such, it's not like accountancy. Whatever comes to me at that time, I perform. And so the singer will have to follow that abhinaya. And of course, Gayatri was guiding as she was doing Natvangam. But look at as I was doing the Sanchari, she was doing the Neraval in all those lines. I miss her here, but give her full credit. One, please claps for her. And it was so wonderful to collaborate and do that performance. I don't know if there is time. I will show you 1 minute of some Tillana because Tillana Chakravarti. 1 minute with that I will conclude. You want to see the Tillana or shall I conclude now? Okay. If I remember, I think I danced that with Vineet. Durga. Okay. Mahati reminds me it is. Only she edited. You can clap for her. I wasn't sure what was going to be shown. So. Lalgudi's music was not only emotional but raised above to a spiritual level. Sri Gauri Mai Shantama, whose ashram is in the outskirts of Chennai, had declared that Lalgudi's music had kindled the seeds of spirituality in her. When Lalgudi played Sabhapatiki Veru Devam Samanumagama, outside the room where Kanchi Mahaswami was observing Kashta Mauna. Mauna is silence. Kashta Mauna is like being a log, like a log of wood with no reactions even. So Mahaswami was inside the room and even not giving darshan to devotees. Lalgudi went there. He was playing outside the room. And when he played Sabhapatiki Veru Devamille, Samana Mahama, suddenly Mahaswami opened the windows, looked out, opened the door, came out, blessed him, and because of Lalgudi, all the devotees there got his blessings. So this is something I have to mention here because his music was just not emotional alone. It was spiritual. It took us to another world. Seldom you get such musicians. And thanks to technology, at least a part of that divine music is still preserved for eternity, filling the air and melting into the cosmic Nada Brahmam, which his ancestors recognized and experienced through the grace of Tyaga Brahmam. May that tribe flourish to elevate the mere human to divine. Thank you so much.